Hello there. Hello to all of the Pisces North Nodes and maybe some friends and family of Pisces North Nodes who are listening today. Welcome to today's video. This is a special little message for anybody who has their North Node in the sign of Pisces. And the message is to beware of the danger of following your plan. So I know that's kind of like a salacious title, but the reason that I'm calling the video this today is because I really want people with their North Node in the sign of Pisces to really master the process of focusing on a vision, but letting go of needing to control all the details about how that vision comes into fruition. So if you're new to astrology, this whole concept of North Nodes might be something entirely new for you. But the North Node in astrology basically represents the direction in which our soul has intended to grow or evolve in this lifetime. So it is sort of based on an idea that the soul is coming into this lifetime or is born into the lifetime with some particular personality traits or proclivities or masteries for certain themes. So many people who practice astrology, and not all, but many do believe in past lives. And so for those who believe in past lives, the North Node point corresponds to another point called the South Node, which can be an indication of, what themes you were working on in prior incarnations. For astrologers who do not believe in past lives, they often say that the North Node is like the direction that we're heading once we fully mature into adulthood, often at or shortly after age 30. And it really represents like the direction for us to head if we would like to experience abundance and joy and a feeling of alignment, and if we would like to really thrive. But in order to fully benefit from the experience of growing into our North Node, we have to be super, super courageous, because it often means letting go of habits or patterns that might have worked for us like really, really well earlier in our life or in prior incarnations, or in prior incarnations. And it can be a scary process, but it's one of the most fulfilling processes that we can go on. And so that's why I love talking about the North Nodes, because it's like this very special point that's so easy to calculate in our charts. Your North Node sign is something that you can figure out just by knowing the day that you were born. And there's all kinds of like websites and charts and things like that reveal the North Node signs. But it can offer you so much, especially for people. And if you have your North Node sign in Pisces, you might be one of these people. Especially if you're a person that feels lost. You feel like you don't know where your direction is in life. Maybe you feel really anxious. Maybe you feel really uptight. And maybe you find yourself like trying to do things that you did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and you're like, it worked for me then, and now maybe it still works, but it just makes you feel depressed, or your old ways aren't working at all. If this is you, it's time for you to grow and evolve in the direction of your North Node. The North Node in Pisces is really, really special to me because it is my North Node. And I just love studying it. I love studying all the North Nodes though. But North Node in Pisces is it's a spiritual journey. Anyone who has their North Node in the sign of Pisces has already mastered hard work and detail orientation and analysis and the mind. And in this life, like people with the sign of Pisces for their North Node are learning to trust in something outside of themselves, some higher power to guide them. And many people who have their North Node in the sign of Pisces are very, very, very good at controlling their own life and environment, and sometimes controlling the life and environment like of those around them too. So there actually is a special gift with this placement in being able to identify problems, create practical solutions, create plans for reaching any particular objective to solve a problem, and then actually implementing the plans. So it's like a really incredible mastery for that, which usually can have a good outlet in the workplace. But if you try to take those skills and implement them in your home life or personal life, it often can push people away and create a lot of stress and anxiety. So what North Node in Pisces individuals are learning in part, and I do have several other videos on the North Node in Pisces too, but is that even if you're not on top of everything and you don't have a plan and you're not in control, things can still really work out wonderfully. And that's like, and if you know anybody who is a Pisces, like let's say they just have a lot of Pisces in their chart, Pisces sun signs and stuff, you'll often see that these people live by faith a lot of the times. They may not know the details of what's going to occur in any given day, or, you know, they can, and I mean this in the most loving way, but they can often like show up to things. Maybe they didn't do a lot of research in advance, but they just trust it's all going to work out, and usually it does. And people with the North Node in Pisces are learning to cultivate this skill. So some astrologers say the North Node in Pisces is the easiest one to have because it, in some ways, it might require the least amount of work. You know, it's like this life path that's about learning to relax and let go and let a higher power, you know, work in your life. But for people who are addicted to work and being in control and having plans and, you know, constantly being in motion and being busy, just letting go and letting God, so to say, can be actually difficult. Sometimes things like, you know, hard work can be almost like fixations or distractions. And so anyway, if you have your North Node in the sign of Pisces, the easiest way to mitigate this is to actually focus on a vision. It's good to have a sense of direction in life. And I think people with North Node in Pisces understand this. You know, it feels really good to be working towards something and feel like you're, you know, making progress. I think this is kind of part of the human experience itself. Like, we almost need to feel like we have our sights set on something, or we're aspiring to something in order to feel fulfilled. And I think North Node in Pisces really gets this. What we need to do to thrive as a North Node in Pisces is to have a vision. And I think the more that this vision is imbued with emotion, the better. Like, the less it's focused on individual tiny little details and the more it's focused on just a big picture sense of goodness, the better off that we are. So with North Node in Pisces, you know, maybe your vision is, maybe you have a vision of what you're aspiring to in your life. And who knows, you know, maybe it's a warm and happy home where everybody is smiling and, you know, affectionate with each other and feeling a sense of love during a holiday, or like something like that, you know. And the danger for a North Node in Pisces, which is South Node in Virgo, these are two in the same, is that they will have that vision and then go right into a huge fixation on all the details of that vision and bringing it about. And they'll say, oh my God, I need to, okay, I have this vision of this, you know, warm home. I got to go find a home, and it needs to have a fireplace, and I need to get an apron, and oh my God, where's my husband? I need to get married right now if this vision is ever going to come true. And oh no, there was 2 kids in the vision, and oh my gosh, like my time is running out. You know, I only have this many more years of fertility, and when am I going to get this first child? And what if we don't get pregnant? And oh my God, like, can I afford IVF? Oh, should I adopt? Like, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And the problem is, like, well, first of all, that's just a terrible way to live. Like, and I know from experience, the interesting thing is that, you know, these people, like with their South Node in Virgo, like there is an ability to actually create plans that are extremely detailed and implement them and succeed. But if you succeed, you most likely won't even appreciate the success when it comes, because you'll be so exhausted and burnt out from the process. And the element of, like, you know, magic will have been missing. Because we're learning, like, when we step back, it kind of allows, like, a higher power to step in. So a better, I hesitate to say better, but a more auspicious state of mind, like for somebody who has their North Node in Pisces, is to know what you're aiming for and to release the details of how you're going to get there. And really trust in a higher power and in your intuition to guide you in getting there one day at a time. And, you know what you're aiming for, but to admit to yourself, I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know how this is going to happen. I'm going to continue moving in the direction of this vision that I have. And when we open up a little bit and admit to not knowing, that's when our intuition can really come alive. That's when a deeper part of us can bring in ideas that we've never considered before. Ideas that we have never ever considered before at any given time. When we get fixated on a particular plan, it's like tunnel vision. Like we miss like all of the signs. We miss like all of the intuitive hits and stuff. Sometimes we get the intuitive hits, like sometimes we get a feeling, our guides, give us this feeling or dream or something like that. And it's like, you know what? Maybe there's another way to get where I want to go, but we can shut it down and be like, no, I'm not going to try that because I already know what I'm going to do. And it's this, and this. And if I don't do it this way, then like I might lose control. And that's horrible because I might not get to the end goal. But the truth of the matter is we can only see a very limited vantage point. And there are higher beings like who assist us. And those could be guardian angels, guides, God, whatever you believe in. But like there are higher beings like who assist in this dimension. And learning to trust and cultivate a faith in a higher being is really an important part of this path. They can see things that we cannot, a bigger picture. And so when we close to redirection, because one of the big things with this North Node is like honoring redirection, being willing to adapt the plan as we go along according to what the environment is telling us at any given time. This is really, 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 really important. And actually, like when we fail to adapt our plans to, outside information that comes in or assistance, we can actually end up in really, really dangerous situations. So for kind of like a mundane example, we could have somebody who maybe was going to take, let's say it's like a woman who's going to take her niece or something like that to go to Disney World. And maybe she's been planning this for like a year as a surprise for the niece's like 5th birthday or something like that. So she could create this whole plan of how everything's going to go. I'm going to wear this. I'm going to get her this princess dress. We're going to leave at exactly, 9:30 like a.m. after I make her these like Mickey pancakes. And then we're going to board a flight and, we're going to fly to the Orlando airport. And when we get there, Minnie Mouse is going to greet us and this and that. And we're going to be at the Cinderella Castle for an early dinner by, 4 p.m. and blah, 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 blah. And these plans can be really great. But let's say like that she spends all this time like thinking about her plan, and gets so fixated on it, on the day that it comes. Let's say she wakes up and the niece has a little bit of a fever. She's got a little bit of a fever. Well, she says, I don't care. This is my plan. I'm going to give her this medication and we're going to push through. And then she gets to the airport And, she's completely fixated on the plan and making sure that, she gets to the end destination, that vision she has at the Cinderella castle for that birthday dinner that night, or whatever the case may be. Then there's a lightning storm. There's a lightning storm coming in, and the flight is delayed. And many people, like many sensible people at that point, would be like, you know what, I don't think this is meant to be. But somebody who's really in that Virgo energy would be like, no, I have a plan. I don't care. Like, okay, this airline's not going to fly. I'm going to take this airline instead. And that other airline gets a delay. Well, fine, I'm going to find another way. Like, we'll drive really fast, and we'll get there. Or we'll take this train, or we'll do all this kind of stuff. So they'll just push through, like worst case scenario, like maybe their car gets struck by lightning or something like that, or they get stuck in a traffic jam. Maybe they make it to the dinner a little bit late, but the kid has a fever, the niece, and is really upset and is crying, and they've wasted a ton of money and it's not even fun anyway. And it turns out to be like the worst birthday ever. And I don't say this to criticize like the North Node in Pisces, but just to say like this is a very realistic example of a type of thing that can happen when you get fixated on a plan. If, let's say, like if this person, this North Node in Pisces person, was really open to letting go of the plan, maybe she would see that, okay, that she would have said, oh, there's a fever. Okay, we probably can't go. Let me call the airline, see if we can reschedule, and maybe we'll do this instead, on a different day. We'll do this instead in a month later or something like that. And maybe it turns out instead that a month later, there is no storm. The illness has passed, and they're much more relaxed. Maybe she ends up telling the niece, oh, I got you a trip to Disney World, like for your birthday, and we're going to go in a month. And maybe during that month they have like the best month together ever. And they color in pictures of Elsa every single day and make all the plans for the rides that they're going to go on together, and stuff like that. And they talk about it. And when the day comes, like the child is so healthy and it's a perfect sunny day. And, they take all these wonderful pictures together, and maybe there's even like a special festival of tulips or something like that, going on at Disney World, and it's even better, and the lines are shorter because it's not as busy of a time, and just everything flows. This is really typical for a North Node in Pisces. Like often if there's a willingness to adapt the plan, things go so much easier. But there's a great fear in people with the North Node in Pisces of letting go of the plan, that things won't work out if they're not in control. So the main purpose of this video today is just to convey, like, to people who have their North Node in Pisces, and remember, I'm amongst all of you, like, that it's amazing things can happen when you have the courage to adapt your plans. The visions that we get for our lives, like with this placement, really are inspired by our soul. Stay loyal to the visions that you have, but have the courage to let go of the details about how you're going to get there. And accept that sometimes you do not know the best way. Okay? You might know the way that's the most efficient or effective or, a sure thing, but sometimes, like, life happens and that sure thing becomes an unsure thing. And that can really frustrate us. But I think when we open to redirection from signs or synchronicities or authorities from outside of ourselves or other people and their ideas or all these things, we open to, it's not just that we avoid dangerous situations, but we open to really magical situations. I think like so many of us are so good at implementing plans, but when we really think about the best moments in our life, it's not really like when our plans unfolded exactly as we wanted them to. It's often when things unfolded really perfectly in a way that was beyond what we could have ever expected. It's often like when unexpected but wonderful things like come into our life. And we are sort of magnets for those things if we step back and open to what is going on around us. And we open to the redirection, knowing that often when something comes in that disrupts our plan, yes, we can feel a sense of tension around that at first. But many, many times it's a blessing in disguise, or it's a divine intervention. And there is a higher plan that is playing out. And there's so much benevolence in all of it. So anyway, thank you for listening to this video today. Focus on the vision. North Node in Pisces, focus on the vision. Let go of needing to control every aspect of how you're going to get there. Let go of needing it to happen at a very specific time, or in a very specific way, or at a very specific place, or just let go. Like, letting go is so healing. Remember that what is meant to be will always be. And life flows much better when we allow a higher power to guide us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you all have an amazing day. Many blessings to you. Give yourself a big hug and lots of love if you made it to the end of this video today. I know these messages can be really intense. So thank you again, and namaste.